All right, let's dive into something that's a real head scratcher. We're looking at Amazon's latest earnings report, and honestly, it's a puzzle. On one hand, the company announced what sounded like amazing news, but the market, it reacted like it was a total disaster. And figuring out why tells us a whole lot about where big tech is headed. So here's the mystery we're unpacking today. You've got Amazon, a giant company, announcing it made billions more in sales than anyone predicted. And the reaction? The stock price just plummets. How does that even happen? What could possibly explain something so dramatic? Well, that's exactly what we're going to figure out. Okay, so to get to the bottom of that crazy stock drop, first we have to look at the numbers Amazon actually reported. Because I'm telling you, when you first see the data, the way the market reacted makes absolutely no sense at all. So let's break down the numbers, right? Total revenue came in at over $213 billion. That's a solid $2 billion more than Wall Street was expecting. Awesome. Their super important cloud division, AWS, beat expectations. The ad business also beat expectations. The only, and I mean only, thing they missed on was earnings per share, and it was by just 2 cents. That's basically a rounding error in a company this size. So let's be super clear here. The top line numbers, the actual amount of money pouring into the company looked fantastic. Beating revenue estimates by over $2 billion is something most companies would be shouting from the rooftops. It showed that their main businesses were running smoothly. And here is the real star of the show, Amazon Web Services. This is their cash cow, the hugely profitable cloud computing part of the business. And it grew at its fastest pace in 13 quarters. That's more than 3 years. This wasn't just good, it was a signal that the real engine of the company was absolutely on fire. Which, brings us right back to our big question. We've got strong sales, we've got a booming cloud business, everything looks great. So what in the world happened? What spooked investors so badly that they sent the stock tumbling down more than 10%? Well, the answer wasn't in any of those numbers. Turns out, the clue to this whole mystery wasn't hidden in how the company had performed in the past. Nope. It was in one single, completely jaw-dropping number about the future. A number that changed the entire conversation. And here it is, $200 billion. Let that sink in. That's the amount Amazon casually announced it was planning to spend on things like data centers and new infrastructure in the coming year. This one number sent an absolute shockwave through Wall Street. And to really get a sense of how huge that is, you gotta look at this chart. In 2025, the company spent about $131 billion. Okay, the experts, the analysts, they were expecting a little bump up to maybe $147 billion for 2026. But instead, Amazon comes out and says, nope, we're planning for $200 billion. This wasn't just an increase, it completely shattered what anybody was prepared for. So the big question is why? Why on earth is Amazon planning to spend that much money? Well, the answer really boils down to 2 letters, AI. This is a massive all-in bet on the future of artificial intelligence. And look, we don't even have to guess. The CEO, Andy Jassy, he laid it all out. He said he passionately believes that AI is going to reinvent every single thing they do. And he's not just talking a big game, he's putting an absolutely unprecedented amount of money where his mouth is. This isn't some small pivot. It's a declaration that a whole new era is starting at Amazon. So where is all this cash going? Well, the lion's share is flowing right into AWS to build out all the massive data centers and infrastructure they're going to need for the explosive demand in AI. But it's also funding everything else, advanced computer chips, robotics, even their Project Kuiper satellite internet system. Amazon is literally spending to own the basic building blocks of the next decade of technology. But you have to remember, Amazon isn't making this bet in a bubble. This incredible spending plan, it's actually part of a much, much bigger trend that's sweeping across all of Silicon Valley. I mean, just take a look at their rivals. Google is getting ready to spend up to $185 billion. Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, is throwing down up to $135 billion. And Microsoft, they're pouring in tens of billions, and that number is going up fast. This is, for all intents and purposes, a full-blown AI arms race. So when you do the math, just these 4 tech giants are planning to spend well over $500 billion, over $630 billion combined, in a single year. That is just an unbelievable amount of money being thrown at winning the future of AI. But, and this is a really big but, there's a whole other side to the story. This record-shattering investment in technology and machines, it has a very real and very human flip side. And this right here is the paradox at the heart of the whole story. On one side, you have Amazon making this historic $200 billion bet on technology. And on the other side, the company has been laying off tens of thousands of its employees. And we're not talking about small cuts here. In just the past few months, Amazon has laid off around 30,000 corporate employees. It's a massive shift of resources away from people and directly towards these huge technology projects. And the timing here is, well, it's pretty wild. Just one day before Amazon revealed its $200 billion spending spree, the Washington Post, which is owned personally by Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, announced it was laying off a third of its staff. And this quote from Marty Barron, the paper's incredibly well-respected former editor, it just perfectly captures the anxiety around all of this. It shines a spotlight on this really painful debate about what our society is choosing to invest in and what it's choosing to leave behind in this new age of tech. So after looking at all of this, the earnings, the spending, and the layoffs, what's the big takeaway here? What does it all mean? When you boil it all down, here's why the stock tanked. Amazon shows a long-term vision over short-term investor comfort. They are making a massive, high-risk, high-reward bet that AI is going to be so transformative that spending $200 billion today will look like a steal tomorrow. It's a gamble that thrills the people building the future, but absolutely terrifies the investors who have to pay for it right now. And that leaves us with this final giant question. With over $500 billion being poured into this in a single year, are we watching big tech build the foundation for a brilliant new future? Or are we just watching them fund a technological bubble of truly historic proportions? I guess only time will tell.